So coming to a prenatal flow sequence, I use this in my power yoga classes. We move a little bit faster. This is still good for prenatal because it involves squatting, which is great for the pelvis, both during pregnancy and when you're not pregnant. Pelvic health is very important. We'll inhale, circle sweep the arms up into Urdhva Hastasana. On the exhale, step your left foot to the left, coming down into a squat malasana. Again, only squat as far as you feel comfortable and that the knees allow. So your squat might not be as deep. Toes pointing forward, knees stay directly over the ankles. You take the hips and glutes back and down. So just watch for those knees coming too far forward of the toes. You'll see here I'm using 2 blocks as a prop. 1 block down on its side lengthwise, 1 pointing up so that it's tall for the forward fold portion Uttanasana. This allows me to keep the legs closer together and fold forward. If I were doing Uttanasana without the blocks, in order to make room for the belly and the baby, the feet would have to be at least hip distance apart, maybe further. And I will show you some modifications. If the blocks don't feel safe to you or stable because 2 on top of one another have a tendency to move, or you need a little more height, go ahead and find any stable chair in your home. I'm using a folding chair, but you can use a dining room chair. You'll want to place at least the front 2 legs on the sticky mat so that it's on a no-skid surface unless you have carpeting. And again, starting here, inhale, circle sweep the arms up. Exhale, step to the right, coming into Malasana, modified garland pose. Inhale, circle sweep up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, circle sweep up. Exhale, step to the left. Now you're going to follow your own breath here. Again, this is a little bit slower than we do in a power yoga class. Power yoga, we move quicker. But this is prenatal yoga, so remember, take time with yourself. The alignment is still the same. As you fold forward, hips are directly over the ankles. You can come down onto the forearms if you feel you've loosened up a little bit. But you want to make sure that your glutes and hips are not going past the heels behind you, avoiding this stretch. So let's embrace the stretch. From the side with a chair, this is what our flow sequence would look like. Normally I do about 10 of these to warm up, get that tapas going, the internal heat. And what you don't notice is when I'm pausing the video getting water. So make sure you do have your water on hand. Very important. Average adult needs half their body weight in fluid ounces a day in water. During pregnancy you need a little more water than that. If you become dehydrated, that can change the amount of fluid in the amniotic sac, so you don't want to do that. We're going to put this all together now. As you can see, I'm doing this without props. The feet are wider than hip distance. Again, a complete Uttanasana forward fold, probably not accessible during pregnancy. This is not my normal range of motion, but I would recommend that if you are going to fold forward all the way without props, as I'm showing you, take the feet wider than hip distance so that there is room for the belly. Don't ever want to compress the baby. Adding Ardha Uttanasana, half forward fold or monkey. Again, crown moving away from sit bones, draw those shoulders down the back. We don't like to say flat back because there are curves in the spine, but keep that chest as lifted and lengthened as the back body. So we would add Ardha Uttanasana right before we come down into plank. Again, if you're not comfortable in plank, you'll do hands and knees. So building them together, building in a lunge to this. So we would do our normal 10 time sequence, 1 to each side with the squat, and then this would be, let's say, 9 coming into 10. Inhale. Our last step to this side would be 10. Exhale, folding forward, inhaling halfway up into Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, folding, hands on either side of the feet, and taking it back into plank. Again, hands nice and wide spread, middle fingers parallel, thumb and first finger pushing most into the mat. From the side, the back of the head, back of the hips, and back of the heel make one line. So straight line, drawing the navel in and up. Again, hands and knees are fine here. You decide what's best for you. We're going to avoid Chaturanga Dandasana or Ashtanga Namaskar just because you don't want to hit the belly directly onto the floor. Urdhva Mukha Svanasana, Upward Facing Dog 2, can add a little too much stretch and pull on the round ligament, so I like to avoid it during pregnancy, but if you'd like to add that in a vinyasa here, you can. I'm just going to go directly from plank to down dog, elbow dog, or dolphin. From there we'll come to a high lunge or low lunge. So if you know you're going to come to low lunge, start in hands and knees. If you can still sweep through, coming from downward facing dog, coming up high on the toes, exhale, right knee to the chest, kick, sweep, or step that right foot through. When you're ready, right knee bent 90 degrees, inhale, circle sweep the arms up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Now again, I do about 10 of these just to keep the shoulders lubricated and warm. I find it helps also to alleviate any tension in the upper back. You can come down to low lunge from Ajanasana high lunge. It's up to you. Low lunge is the same thing. You're just going to bring the left knee down onto the mat, left shin onto the mat, pointing the left toes behind you. For more balance, you could curl the left toes, hooking them to the mat as well. Exhale, come on down. Draw the right knee back, and transitioning through hands and knees, I'll show you now. You're just going to draw the left foot forward. When you're ready, inhale, circle sweeping the arms up. If you had wanted to, you could have come back into downward facing dog here. Again, working at your level. So Satya, truthfulness, Ahimsa, nonviolence. Being truthful about where you are, and then acting on that. And it's very common during your practice to get tired. So having no expectation of having to do the same thing from side to side, just following your natural rhythm. Coming down again, you can come through hands and knees. I'm going to come through downward facing dog to transition to Uttanasana for our standing postures. And I found it's much easier while pregnant to walk the hands backward than to walk the feet forward. We'll inhale halfway up, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, fold forward. And then inhale, circle sweep the arms all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart center.